We are listening to a discussion of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, and we now want to take you to the author of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, Congresswoman Karen Bass of Los Angeles, who is, at the time of last year, was the chairperson of the Congressional Black Caucus. She wrote this legislation last year, which passed the House but did not pass the Senate. She's obviously in the process of getting ready. Congresswoman, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
All right, this is Alex Michelson in Los Angeles. I know this is an emotional and important day for you, and if you can just walk us through the emotions of what this day means to you.
Well, it really means everything to me. You know, it gave me a moment to exhale. It gave me a moment of relief. I have to tell you that the flashbacks to the verdict in the Rodney King beating were definitely in the forefront of my mind, where I so anticipated a guilty verdict and was disappointed. This time it was guilty on all accounts, and so it is a measure of relief. I will tell you, though, that leading the prosecution, a former member of the Congressional Black Caucus, Attorney General Keith Ellison, just did a brilliant job, amassed an incredible team. And I think it sends a very important signal, not just to everyone in the United States, but around the world. And so it's a day of relief. I will tell you that I will wait now. I will hold my breath for the sentencing, because the sentencing needs to be the absolute maximum.
And that is about 8 weeks away. Hi, it's Christine Devine here. I wanted to ask you, as a Congresswoman, now what do you want to do moving forward from today?
Well, you should know that every day I have been focused on one thing, and that is coming to an agreement with my Republican colleagues on the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And I am very hopeful that this will be a very positive catalyst to get us over that finish line. Our conversations have been going very well. Now we need to take the next step.
So where are we at? Give us an update there, and is there any discussion of, I mean, because this is the talk about whether Democrats get rid of the filibuster or not. Assuming that they don't get rid of the filibuster, you need 60 votes in the Senate to do this, which means you need at least 10 Republicans, if not more. You've been negotiating with Tim Scott, this Republican senator from South Carolina, but how close are you? What's the holdup right now?
Well, I think that we are doing well. Our conversations have been in the House with members of the House. And the idea is that we would try to present our Senate, our colleagues in the Senate, with something that they could move forward on. And so we are not in formal negotiations now, but I am hoping that formal negotiations will be the next step that will be publicly announced. Right now it's informal conversations, and I do speak with Senator Scott regularly, and also Senator Booker. The two of them are the leads in the Senate.
Right. I want to ask you what you would say to law enforcement, to our own police department here, the LAPD, the Sheriff's Department, because I'm thinking back to the prosecutor in the trial against Chauvin, where he said this is the state versus Chauvin, not the police. This is not an anti-police prosecution. In fact, they called it pro-police, and we think of all the officers who did testify on behalf of the prosecution.
You know, that was one of the things that I thought was really phenomenal about this trial, was the fact that you had the chief of police, supervising officers come forward. And that, I think, is really important, because up until now, you don't see officers testifying against another officer. I think it just shows the extreme act, the murder that Derek Chauvin committed. But I am also hoping that this can be a transformative moment, that police will come together and reject the practices that are so discriminatory. I will tell you, in Los Angeles with the Police Protective League, I have a conversation coming up with them very soon. They're very interested in reforms and interested in having a discussion. We have to figure out a way to hold officers accountable so that they don't feel that they can act with complete impunity. I think that was one of the things that was so egregious about this, the fact that Derek Chauvin had no problem looking in the camera. He knew he was being filmed, and he still didn't stop. And at some point, we have to say that we have to stop this.
Congresswoman, you know, we see a lot of emotion in the streets today, and a lot of people that felt like they had not been heard before, that now feel heard, at least when it comes to this one case. And this is one case, a lot more work that needs to be done. But I'm wondering, if you share some of that feeling and if you can expand upon that feeling.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, again, I thought we were finished 30 years ago with the first videotape. And since then, we've seen, I don't even know how many videotapes of people being brutalized and killed on camera. And there rarely were charges. And so this one is really unique because I think it was so egregious that there was really no choice. But, you know, we absolutely need to take a look at policing in the United States. Something is wrong. You know, since the trial started on March 29th, there have been over 30 people that have died in officer-involved shootings. Something is wrong, and we need to look at it and see we need to transform policing in America.